Hi guys, good morning. So this is probably called this lecture 5, I think. This is on cost volume profit analysis. I haven't done a video on throughput. I mean, we did that in class. So what I tend to do is do the videos where I haven't finished off the class. I can, if you're not quite happy with throughput, but we all seem quite comfortable, and it's really about trying to do as many questions as possible and then still discussing the theories in class. But this is on cost volume profit analysis. So what I want you to do is, we sort of started this. I'm going to go through it again very quickly and then go on to the next part of it so that when we come to class, you're comfortable. So let's go through this very quickly. We have done this slide, just not quite finished it, but we have started it. Okay, so cost volume profit analysis, also referred to as break-even analysis. I've talked several times about how this is just a fancy name, CVP, cost volume profit analysis. This is a fancy term really for break-even analysis. Right, and we're fundamentally looking at changes in profit with the levels in activity change, right? So, activity's changing, and how's profit doing as we're going up or down? Again, the issue here is we're really saying what's the relationship between profit and fixed costs and variable costs and selling price and quantity, and that mix. So the issue here is we get a chance to really observe the behavior of profit. Again, sort of the same sort of idea, focusing on those different factors. So let's very quickly do a quick calculation of break-even analysis. We remember that I gave you a couple of definitions last time. Break-even point is referred to as the point where there's no profit or loss. Some other fancy terms, and there's a formula. We'll see the formula. It's not a formula, but we'll see the expression of a formula in a second. But if you're looking for a formula, it's your fixed costs over your selling price minus your variable cost. Remember, this in itself is contribution. So you could have said fixed costs over contribution per unit, selling price of an individual unit, of course, and the variable cost of an individual unit. So technically as well, you could argue that at break-even, fixed costs are equal to contribution. I highlighted this in class. This is a big point. You need to be comfortable with this understanding, because we're going to talk about something called the C over S ratio in a second. But this idea of fixed costs being equal to contribution, quite key. You need to be comfortable with. And as you can imagine, if you're looking at, whatever, selling price minus variable costs gives you contribution, and then contribution minus fixed cost gives you profit. And if this is equal to 0, well, C minus FC of fixed costs must be the same thing if this is the scenario. So this is the example. We sell each unit for $200 and the variable cost is $40. Straight away you can see that the contribution is 200 minus 40, that's 160. And if my fixed cost is 600,000, my break even is 600,000 over 160. And I sort of do that here. You can see here the 600,000 divided by the 160, giving you 3,750. Let's look at another exercise. So we're looking and focusing here, first of all, on this sort of idea of the single product break-even analysis. The next video will discuss multiple products, but this video is first of all looking at just single products. And we have some data here, which we did look at last time in class. So we have variable cost of £2 per unit, selling price of £6 per unit, fixed costs of £1,000. Same process. This is a range of different questions that you could work through. If your budgeted sales are 300, if you're at 300 units, what is the profit or loss, which we can find? We can find break even. We can find break even revenue, which is just break even units times selling price. And we can also discuss this issue of target profits. So let's look at the first one. If you will have the slides. If the budgeted sales and production are 300 units, what is the budgeted profit or loss? So if it's 300, well, we have 6 times 300, 1,800, 2 times 300, 600, and the contribution is 1,200. Fixed cost of 1,000, therefore budgeted profit for the year is 200. So again, all I'm doing is just multiplying the selling price times the 300 and just going all the way there to find my budgeted profit for the year. Okay, let's look at the next question. What is the break-even point in units? Well, I have contribution of 4, fixed costs of 1,000, therefore break-even is 1,000 divided by 4, 250. And the next question is really asking for break-even revenue, which is 250 times 6, because 6 is the selling price. And that gives you 1,500. And then I think the last question was told us that we have this target profit of 300. So if you look at it this way, if you have selling price, variable costs, contribution, fixed costs, profit, and if you're telling me that you want this to be 300 and you have fixed costs of 1,000, well, contribution must be 1,300, because to get 300 I'll need contribution to be 300 more than fixed costs. And if contribution is 1,300 and I know that contribution per unit is 4, therefore the number of units I need must be 1,300 divided by 4, which gives us 325 units. So in a way it's kind of working backwards, but just have this model in your head. I mean, it is what's going on, but just be comfortable with this relationship and you should always arrive at the answer. So we have tackled these simple concepts of sorry, I'm just trying to find it. Go back to the actual questions. We have tackled the following questions: calculating some profit, finding break-even in points, finding break-even in revenue, and knowing how many units need to be sold to achieve a certain target profit. Right, let me see. I might pause the video there to come back, but let me just see what's after this. Maybe yeah, why not? Let me quickly do margin of safety. So margin of safety, I mean, again, like I mentioned earlier, the videos are never going to be more than 10 minutes long, just to give you some breathing space. So margin of safety, we discussed that in class as well. The difference between our budgeted and, if you like, our break-even. So it's really saying by how much can we fall before we're in trouble. Again, listen, if you clearly hear what I'm saying, by how much can we fall from the budgeted. So because it's from the budgeted is always the denominator in your percentage calculation. You know, it's sort of falling from here to here. So if it falls by 50, if it's 300, if our budget is 300, for example, and break-even is 250, well, if it falls by 50, in terms of percentages, it's 50 divided by 300, not 50 divided by 250, because it's falling from this point. And then, of course, you can find this as a percentage. So here we are, 50 divided by 300. So I'm using that same example. The percentage is important because talking about it as percentage is important and not as units, because as you can see here, this is another example where something falls from 300,000 to 299. I mean, that's also 50, but it's a very different type of 50. This is actually a much more dangerous scenario. Literally by 16 of 1,000%, we're in trouble. So that's very small. So, you know, that's why we go with percentages, so we can actually compare different scenarios. I think that's a good place to stop. And then when we come back, we'll look at the graphs and then a couple of other things. Okay, great stuff. See you in the next video.